did you feel like your team's performance was Saturday relative to where you perceived their potential at this point in the season?
Not as good as we should have been. I think that was a tough team physically, and they got after us. And I think we didn't respond the way we should have at times. Had opportunities throughout the game, kind of hung in there, but never made the push we needed to make.
Kliff, you've talked about execution and that in certain situations during games that's really been lacking. Do you see that in practice? And if you do, what do you see as the impediment to seeing it carried over to games?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, is nerves, I guess, being fearful of failing. It appears to me you have 5 drops offensively, some of the things we did, and then defensively, some missed tackles, missed assignments, not triggering. It's just something we have to get better at and play ourselves out of.
How do you fix the toughness situation?
Just keep working at it, I don't have any answers to that one. Like I said, that team was a tough team, and they took it to us. And that's, as a coach, as a player, you got to look at that film and just say, hey, we have to be tougher than we were.
Is that frustrating to you?
It is, because we knew what environment we were going into, and as coaches, you try to prepare them. This is a senior-laden team that they're very physical. They play tough, and then when you don't answer the bell the way we'd like, it's frustrating. But it's something we have to get better at and grow up a little bit.
Anything the coaching staff can do to cut down on the number of personal fouls?
We're working on it. It's something we have a punishment in place, and when you have a senior team captain do it in that situation, it's out of the ordinary and something that obviously needs to be addressed.
What is the punishment?
That's something we'll keep in-house, but there is something that is in place for personal fouls, and hopefully keeps them from happening again.
From the 35 in on Saturday, it seemed like you guys kind of got stuck in the mud at times. What you think was the biggest issue? Was it execution for you guys offensively, or was it more, like you said, West Virginia being physical?
Yeah, I think everybody, when you look at the teams they've played outside of Baylor, has struggled in that area. They're a good defense with good linebackers, and with our struggles at outside wide receiver, they came down, played some press man, filled up the box, and we were kind of handcuffed a little bit. But I thought Pat at times did good things moving around, creating on his own. But until we get some guys winning on the outside, we're going to have those struggles.
And you started Tony and Kiki instead on the outside. Just kind of what went into that decision, and just how did you feel like those guys played?
Yeah, I just think trying something new. It hadn't been working with the combination we had, so we wanted to get some fresh guys in there. And they were young, they played young, and we'll get everybody practicing this week, and whoever practices better this week will start this game.
How would you assess Kansas State secondary and their ability to possibly do the same thing to you on Saturday?
Yeah, we'll see. They're a team that traditionally has played the coverages they play. They're very solid. They don't change up a ton of looks, but they're great at executing the defenses they run. So I'm not sure if they'll come down and get in our face and challenge us in that way or not, but traditionally they've pretty much run what they've run.
Again, you'll face a team that's played 2 less games than you. How much of a disadvantage is that to your team?
I'm not sure. I think, like I've said all year, it can go both ways. If you get hot, you don't really want to buy, and if you have some struggles, have some injuries, you wish you had one. So I don't know. I think that can go either way.
Would you like to see Texas Tech change its policy of not playing on finals because that prevents you from playing that first week in December?
Yeah, I think that's something we could talk about after the season. I think there's always ways to get better when it comes to scheduling.
Is that a charge you'd like to lead?
No, I'll stick that to Kirby and let them see if we can work something out.
Coach, on a more positive note, Dre goes over 1,000 for the 2nd straight season. It's almost like he does it quietly. What has he meant to your program?
He's been a lot. It's been awesome watching him grow up on and off the field. He's coming off that knee injury when we first got here, and to see his development, the type of player he's become, pass catching, blocking, obviously running, and he does a lot of it on his own. I mean, he's great at making people miss and then great after contact. And he's a guy that our young players look up to, his work ethic, the way he carries himself. So I can't say enough good things about him.
Working with much of the same offensive line as last year as well, how much does it mean to kind of get that task done for those guys?
I know they take a lot of pride in that. They know how hard DeAndre works, the type of running back he is. So as a unit, they definitely take a lot of pride in it.
A lot of people, public perception of Texas Tech is throw it. But when you have a guy that has the 2,000 yards, what does that do for your program?
I just think it shows any running back prospects out there that, hey, this is a place you can come and be very successful in this offense. We have that reputation as this pass-happy offense, but the last 2 years he's really proven that you can still be very successful at that position.
What did West Virginia do to be so successful in Japan? I mean,
Yeah, I just kept 2 guys on him. One guy inside, one guy over the top, and took him away. And like I said, challenged our outside guys, and we didn't make a lot of plays out there.
What do you see defensively from Kansas State that concerns you?
Yeah, the last 2 years we played them, we just turned the ball over a bunch. They are a defense. They're not going to miss a line. They're going to be where they ought to be, and they make you beat them. Great executing. Coach Hayes is a tremendous defensive coach. They're always lined up. They always are well prepared, and if you're not ready, they'll embarrass you. In the last couple of years, we haven't played very well against them.
What's Taylor Semang's status for Saturday?
We're going to kick him this week in practice and see if he can go. We're hopeful, but until we see him throughout practice, we won't know.
If he's not able to kick off, will you change your strategy so you don't have the out-of-bounds kickoffs?
Yeah, we'd hope so. That obviously was a negative on Saturday. Prior to that, he's done pretty good, but that's something we have to work on this week and see if Barden can step in and do that, and if not, we'll definitely try and figure a way to keep it in bounds.
Kansas State doesn't have the reputation of bringing in blue chip recruits or leading in the recruiting rankings. What do you see on film every year in and year out from a Bill Snyder crew that just kind of separates him and kind of lifts his team up, separates them from the pack?
Yeah, just amazing at fundamentals and techniques, and you never see them make any dumb penalties. They don't make any dumb mistakes. Their execution is at a very, very high level, and that's a credit to him. He's a Hall of Fame coach. What he does there year in, year out, what he's built there is incredible.
Does Huebner concern you? Obviously, he's doing well in that kind of zone where
He does. He's a big physical kid, and with our struggles against the run, we're going to see a heavy dose of him, I'm sure. And he has more speed than you'd like. He can make people miss, and so it'll be a challenge.
People look at 0-5 for Kansas State in the conference. Do you think that's a reflection of who they are or just the schedule they play?
I think they've played some good teams. You look at some of those scores, with the exception, I think, one. They've been competitive games. They're a tough team. Watching them last week against a very good Baylor team, hung right in there till the end. So we know they're a good football team. We know we'll get their best shot. They're fighting and clawing like we are, and that's what we're expecting.
Some seniors playing their final game in the Jones this weekend. A different message you give those guys before they head out there?
Yeah, we'll pretty much make the whole week about those guys and trying to send them out on the right note. It's a good group, bunch of big names that have played here a long time and made a bunch of plays around here, so we'd love to send them out the right way.
I know the result was disappointing, but did you feel like you continue to see some good things defensively, continuing to give you guys opportunities on the offensive side?
I did, to an extent. Just have to get better. Can't give up that many rushing yards, obviously, when the game's on the line. And it's 3rd and 7 in their hand and off and getting first downs. That's disappointing. But I think as a group, they're making enough plays to give us the ball back. And in this conference, that's all you can hope for. There's great offenses every week, and you just hope you can get enough stops to give yourself a chance to win.
Coach, early in the year, y'all were really playing clean football. Not as many penalties, not as many some of the dumb mistakes, selfish plays, like you said. Recently, y'all haven't made those plays. In your opinion, what's been the difference? Why is that come back up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not sure. Maybe level of competition to an extent. Guys trying to do too much, overcompensating at times, but it's stuff that we have to get cleaned up in a hurry.
How do you do that? How do you hold the players accountable from your perspective to clean that up in the middle of the season?
Yeah, you put it on them just like we have all year. We do all we can as coaches to put them in positions to be successful, but if you're going to go out on your own and get a personal foul and do things of that nature, we got to play somebody else.
How important is it to get a win this Saturday so you don't go to Austin needing a win to be bowl eligible?
Yeah, I think they're all important. We haven't brought that up as far as bowl games go. I mean, you get 12 of these opportunities guaranteed, and we're just trying to focus on the next one.
Take one more question.
Coach, out of curiosity, did you follow up with any of the stuff going on in Missouri? Have any reaction to the situation over there?
I really haven't had time to look at it. So.